It's, need your phone for Instagram still.
And you've got it up here if you want to give me a quick look at what it is.
Yeah. Or do you want to go in? I got it up on my.
Want to show it right
Yeah.
here?
What's that?
Hey Kyle,
shut that off.
can you kill the stereo?
So basically, a couple locations.
So dealer. Uh-oh. Gearbox.
There we go.
So two boxes.
So these guys, just so you know, those are basically the shocks that are on the car. Good evening, how you guys doing?
Is it showing up, Todd?
It says I'm live. Let's see if I got anybody showing up.
The Wi-Fi.
To go that long, but Mike's going to go ahead and take my phone for me here, and Todd and me are going to just have a little chit chat, and we'll go from there. That's the speaker down there, so when you set it down there, you cut your volume off. There you go, cool. All right, thanks. So what we got tonight, Dan, you want to kind of pop through locations? I've got Todd Romano, my business partner here. Todd, why don't you jump up and take this?
I've been standing all day.
Yeah, but let me explain what we got going on here. So do you want me to be a point?
No, I got it. So part of what we're doing is listening to our customers, and in doing so, is that camera winding up?
Oh yeah, it sees all the way to that
seat. I want to make sure I'm in it for once. But in here, actually, I'll stand up just because that will help. What we continue to do is add orange dots to our service centers. Making sure we understand where cars are first, and then getting the dealers. There's about 15 or 20 states that really are conducive to using our car. Not that all of them are, but when we look at all the statistics the industry has, it actually teaches us a ton about what and where our car can play at. So, first you design the company. We've been very fortunate with customers that we get their insight on what the car may or may not be to them. Then we actually get orders for the cars. Those populate different states and zip codes. And then we go from those states and zip codes and we start trying to find the dealers that work. I think we've said it before, and if you're a dealer watching tonight, please contact me directly. But as we look, we're really looking for current power sports dealers that have Polaris and Can-Am, because it's a great thing to have companies like Polaris and Can-Am out there. They do a phenomenal job in this industry. I just saw Polaris's Q4 2020 earnings report. They're up 23%. Our industry is in the best it's ever been. Just up 23% is up $2.6 billion in one quarter. That's a pretty staggering number. Polaris did 163,000 UTVs last year. Can-Am did like 53,000 UTVs last year. So we're a boutique brand, and appreciate all you guys here tonight. Thanks for coming. We are and have always positioned ourselves to be in a space that the others aren't. We're delivering more car, we're communicating more directly. We're trying to make this a family brand, but with the highest quality. And I've always told Rob, I go, we're this Ferrari model. Ferrari builds 10,000 units a year, and in those 10,000 units, they are today, they have the largest valuation in all of Wall Street and automakers, bigger than Ford, General Motors, Chevy, you name it. So it's amazing. A company builds 10,000 units, has a higher valuation than companies who sell millions of units a year. So that's our play. And then Robby looked at me, he's like, we're not Ferrari. He goes, we're Pagani. So Bugatti. He said, and I love it because I'm Italian, but we're not Lamborghini. They're owned by Audi. So at the end of the day, our ability to communicate, be there. So we keep going along. And if you want to, we've been starting to move to the west. And one of the greatest, if you guys spend any time, and I think a lot of our customers might, Rob Report, DuPont Registry is a great company called Starwood Motors. And Starwood Motors has 3 locations that we just, actually 4 if you count their flagship store, but we are now in Dallas, Gainesville, Sherman, and Ardmore, which Ardmore is just north of Texas in Oklahoma. So that was a pretty nice thing to add 4 more there. We have another dealership, don't switch slides yet, that we're just finalizing that will add 5 more dealerships to northern Utah and into Idaho. So we're really working with a lot of conglomerates. You know, we're not avoiding the smaller dealerships, but for us, we're just 2 guys, right? And we have built out our staff. I think we're 40 plus people strong now to facilitate, and we'll be adding more staff as cars start shipping. But it's easier for me in my responsibility to work with one or a principal or that controls 4 to 10 conglomerates than one at a time. And we're eventually, you know, Polaris I think has over 2,000 dealers in the United States, and we're going to have 100, right? Because I'm not selling a 54-inch car, and I'm not selling a Spider, and I'm not selling a watercraft. That's just not our business
How about a
model.
speed trial? Are you selling one of those?
Guys, I pissed Robby off today. In the Power Source Business News, Triumph came out with a speed triple. And I was like, I bet he's gonna. I just been trying to piss him off all day. We've been in meetings, like, I'm not gonna lie, guys, 20 hours a day? 20 hours a day for the last 6 days straight. So like, I gotta have some fun. So I invited you guys here tonight, so we'll have some fun with that. And yeah, then I saw the speed triple. I'm like, that's gonna piss him off. I'll have some fun with that. So
I wonder if my speed double makes more power than speed triple. I'm pretty sure it does.
But we'll switch slides. I want to talk about the rest of our dealers that have come on board. If you're in Kansas City, there's 2. There's Gale's Power Sports, and then just next to her, she owns the other company. And you're gonna have to help me if I didn't put both on there. They have 2 franchises. But Gale, if you're around, thank you.
2 dots.
Yeah, there's 2 dots. Those are the blacks. Those are the no-goes. So one thing we do, if you notice in this picture, is we give our dealers a tremendous radius. As much as we're for our customer, we're also not that power sports manufacturer that listens to the state. Every state has governing laws. So in California, you can open up a power sports dealership with the same vehicle every 8 miles. If that's what you wanted to do, and other manufacturers do that, they just flood the dealer base. But at the end of the day, the dealers don't make any money. If you don't make any money, then none of us belong in business. You know, all of us go to work, and part of that is to make a living, right? And if you deprive the people you're doing business with to make a living, right, then no one makes any money. No one wants to carry your line, and there's been a lot of fallout over the last couple years with dealers in power sports signing up, and then other dealers being fired. And the problem is, eventually, you get greedy as a power sports manufacturer, and you open up a ton of dealers because you think that fills your pipeline. You have this great math equation that says, wow, if we open up 100 more dealers this year, that generates X amount of new car sales. They don't realize they didn't need any more distribution, and all they did was steal from the dealers that have been there for 30 years. So we've been very selective. We're very slow to open up power sport dealers, one, from a lack of time, and two, to really follow where customers are selling. You know, we have great ones. I want to see if I have any more I added to the service slipping slides, Dan. Is there another one after this?
Yeah.
I'll do that. Oh.
Oopsie, sorry about that.
Sorry. Oh yeah, so actually this is awesome. So this is the Porsche BMW dealer that just expanded into power sports and actually dropped Can-Am. So they bought a franchise, dropped Can-Am and picked us up. And he texted me today, he's like, hey, we've been running Pikes Peak and Porsche for the last 30 years. See if Robby wants to drive the car next year. And I wrote back, I don't think he wants to drive a Pikes Peak. I think it would scare him.
Isn't it pavement now?
It's all pavement. You'd be fine.
Well, we should bust out a little IndyCar then.
You take off. Yeah, no, let me tell you, the last 10 miles have been some big bumps. So new dealer, Pikes Peak Motorsports. And we've always had, from almost 6 months now, if you're in Grand Junction, All Terrain. So we just keep expanding. All Terrain is a great 30-year-old family business. They're expanding. A lot of these people, if you've ever were around when Hummer, no offense to you guys over there, they're still young, but when Hummer came out, they forced their dealers to build these, they were all Cadillac dealers to start, and then they forced them to build these, I forget what they were called, but they had to build their own store. Remember they had that weird shape? Yeah, I forget what they're called. But interesting enough, almost all our dealers, because of COVID, has helped them. COVID's been the best power sports year in power sports because everyone is outside playing outside, and they're not traveling, they're not going to dinner. In California, we were lucky to get dinner last night. Walked into Houston's at 8 o'clock at night to finally have something to eat, and they said they couldn't serve food anymore. So had to leave, and we found a great Italian joint.
Yeah, Italian.
Then lactose intolerant over here had some some pasta that didn't sit well with him. He had to leave, and I'll sit there alone drinking wine and eating chicken parm. But it's a good night. But yeah, I lost where I was going. But
What's the next slide?
there you go. I'm gonna let Robby take it from here. Talk about every day we get new parts, new castings that are going into final testing. So I'll let Robby talk.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna sit down.
I'm gonna discuss what we have up on the screen here today. We have our gearbox. Obviously, we've been testing gearbox. Now we have revised parts from everything that we learned with test cars. We want to either make them stronger, better. This is our 3-speed gearbox, and you can see the castings here look really, really, really good. The first ones were just makeshift castings, and now these are full production castings. It looks like the same slide, right, Daniel?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's still the same slide there. Last week we had some engines. I don't know if you put those in this week or not. More parts are coming. This is what a casting looks like as it comes out of the tooling. Reason for showing you that is it has sand pockets inside of it that have to be washed out, and then obviously by the time it's done and cleaned up, it turns to this. But our cylinders do have cast in steel sleeves. So we did cast in a steel sleeve instead of a nickel seal. We feel that is a more reliable option for long-term and for long-term higher boost. Should be able to turn up the boost a little bit more for the high-performance aftermarket industry. I think we showed some of these parts last week, so we're still dancing on those, which last week was just a couple days ago. Front diff, you guys have seen the forged front diff. These are the pressure casted front diffs. So there's 2 halves to that, and then this is the piece that the torque limiting clutch rides in. And you see some grooves here, and Todd was actually asking, what are those grooves? Well, those are actually the fingers that lock in. So not only do we rely on a bolt them together, these things have tongue and groove locking devices to lock them together, and they will be machined as well as just cast to be correct tolerance. But this is I think Daniel's probably walking out. Is he going to go get a diff?
He's going to get the rear housing that it'll lock into.
Oh, the rear housing that locks into. Okay, perfect. And it'll allow us to check that out. So Daniel ran to the back of the shop real quick. But we are starting to see more and more of these parts. Now, these are coming out in lots of parts. These aren't one-off parts anymore. These are flooding in parts. And it's an exciting process because it's like every time it's a new baby. You know, every time we part, oh, I got another one. I got another one. They keep coming. And, you know, things are really starting to progress along now. And, you know, people have to realize when we took on the project of Speed UTV, and we launched it September of 2019, we brought a concept 4-seat XX. We said probably kind of like this. When you now look at what that car is versus what we designed them today, they're not even anything close to what that original car was that we showed at the at Sand Sports in 2019. Now that is, are we going 16 months? Is that what that works out to? What's the math on that? Are we 16 months into the project? Daniel?
So September. Well, September to now, plus a year.
16 months in, parts, pieces tested, running, factored, shocks manufactured, engine manufactured, differentials, tires, wheels. You know, we started, someone was calling me out, well, you know, is Robby Woods going to finish his diesel before I finish the UTV? And I'm like, hang on.
No offense, Robby, you're a good guy.
And your
Great
products are awesome.
Awesome, yeah.
Craftsmanship is beautiful. But, you know, trying to do one car versus 10,000 cars is a big deal. And, you know, our four-wheel drives have been outrunning. The Unicorn is successful finishing both races, has not won yet, but it has qualified on the pole. So it's knocked one of the boxes already. And then now these pieces are starting to come play. But I did want to show, you know, Todd thought that was a crack in the casting. I don't know if you can see here. This groove here is the male section that I was talking about that will lock into that groove. And this keyways in so that all the load is not on the bolts. It's actually loaded on all these surface areas around to keep everything aligned. And this, Daniel set it up for me so I can plug it in. Am I in the right place? Or upside down? Upside down. There we go. So not only does it lock in here, and as we, so we hold that for, there we go, we locked it in. Then there's a little dog bone over the top here. Can you show the dog bone? There's a dog bone that ties it together. And then obviously there's bolts that put the whole thing together as well. But large bolts, tongue and grooved, and then a dog bone top and bottom dog bones. So the reason we call them dog bone, if you look at it, it truly looks like a dog bone there. And that's a little steel strap. It's amazing how strong just a couple little steel straps are when you put them in tension. All right, let's go on to the next one. Does that go back to you again? All right. There we go.
I want to talk about something.
Just go ahead and stand up there. It just comes out better.
I really want to talk about something that's really, I did a post last week about having no problem drinking beer with the people that want to drink beer with us in the cooler, but to make our site family friendly. Because there's, what Robby you're doing with, we're taking, we've got 2 30-year career guys that are putting our names and reputations on the line. And, as much as there's a lot of you, thousands of you that want to see us succeed, there's a lot of people that have their way of, I don't know if they're hoping for lack of success, but it's interesting. I've learned a lot over the years of being in business. And one thing I did learn is when you spend money on something, no matter what you did, and even on our own product, you're going to be hard pressed to say you made a bad decision. In our industry today, people are spending a lot of money on cars. And my business partner over here has no problem telling you what's wrong with those cars. And in doing so, you spend a lot of money on something, right? You got 20 grand or 10 grand or 50 grand. I know friends with Can-Ams with 70 grand in them. And when you start realizing you have $70,000 into something that you're very happy with and proud of, be it that you believe that decision to be true or you want to believe that decision to be true, that creates tension. And that was never our goal. Sorry, was to create tension. But for me, I really believe, and I come from an old school Italian family, and I believe that this industry for us is family, and it proved it to me in the last 3 weeks. And this is I'm bringing up something very I think interesting and emotional and sad for what's happened. But in a year, we've got to meet great people, and those people have families and they have friends. And in the last 3 months, we've lost 3 speed family members, not to accidents or anything like that, or maybe actually one was an accident. 2 daughters, I believe, and 1 friend of a friend. And what blew me away is the phone call we got was, no names and no situations here, but one of my friends, not me personally, but this is the customer calling, one of my friends that has also bought a speed UTV, lost his daughter, or lost his son, or lost his friend. And I want to handle the configuration on his car. So the dollar amount, whatever he wanted, I'm going to give him. Or he just built the car for him. Didn't even care and bought everything we offer to find a way to help that family feel good in a time that's bad. COVID strikes us. Accidents strike us. I lost a really dear friend 2 days ago. If you know who Too Tall Mike Bell is, a great, amazing motocross racer. He helped me and Robby at KMC. He was our wheel sponsors. We've both been racing for KMC for over 5 years. Mike, the fittest guy we've ever met. I think Mike was in his 60s. I hope I'm not doing anything wrong and saying his age. It didn't look like he was in his 60s. But when he raced motorbikes, I'm guessing he was. And he's friends with all of us, with Jeff Ward and Jerry McGrath, and we just go down the line of our friends. So it was a very difficult time, and so you just want to reach out that, this industry is one about having fun, right? We're creating fun, and we're creating a family, and we appreciate everybody that's part of it. So I just wanted to take a minute and thank everybody who's joining this family, and then our goal is that's what we've built here, and that people want to integrate, have fun, and share that cold beverage. So I got to be careful on beer with everybody. So thank you on that. Another note, while he's still on, thank you all, folks. That's from Looney Tunes.
Mike took some creative.
The 2 Looney Tunes, I guess. Oh, thank you. Now we know who builds our decks. So one thing we do really good is we create confusion for our admin team, and I got to pull my phone out for this. And then my wife brought this up. She goes, if you guys could just actually be accurate with your information, it would make the admin team's information and the week following your show a whole lot easier. So I had Sherry get me the exact numbers we are on in configuration, so the phone calls don't happen, because Robbie's like, we've configured the first 800 cars
Well, we did, in a certain way.
in a certain way. Oh, we sent out invoices, sorry, see, I almost did it. We've sent out invoices for the first 800 cars. No, we haven't. We wish we had. It takes a lot of time. We had to hire 6 temps? How many are you hiring right now? Four new temps just to keep up with the paperwork you guys are creating from changes and adds and deletes and I don't knows and ship my toolbox. We had, just to tell you how interesting life is here, we went and shipped a bunch of people's toolboxes in our C cars right out the front door the other day. We put the boxes outside for the UPS guy, and a truck pulled into the yard. That's why Robby was pissed when someone pulled up. The truck pulled in and stole everything. Oh, but times are tough. Hey, I don't care. If that helps you pay your bills, steal the stuff. Just make sure you use the tools. Don't just freaking, I don't know if that thing. I'm not welcoming everybody here to come steal it.
Wait, hang on a second. You just opened the shop.
No, I'll leave the door open tonight. Come take a look. After that, we're locking it. But the actual number of 4-seat cars that we've sent out invoices to, and we continue to send out invoices for you to review, to make sure we've done our job of taking your data and your request for your build, is to 613. 613.
What master number's up there?
871. All right, so 871 is tricky because there's 4 seats, there's Bandits, there's Diablos in those master numbers. And since we're building the first run of cars and 2 runs of 400 4-seaters, the master number is a tricky number because it doesn't apply to all 4-seaters. So an 871 master number, right, is different than a 613 invoice sent out. So if you're waiting on your invoice, it's coming. And it's a testament that we bought more computers last week and we hired more temps to get you your paperwork. And the good news is, we're getting really close. I mean, you see all the castings Robby showed you, we still machine those and they turn into beautiful parts like these other ones. But here shortly, we'll have the 4-seater as soon as we get back to Charlotte with production powertrain. And we'll test production powertrain and then we are done. Our current timeline that we get asked all the time, what's our current timeline? So we sat down with manufacturing and we said, hey, we get this every day. What's our answer? So I'll give you the current answer and how all this rolls out. So as of today, we have to test final production powertrain. So we have cars at Carbon EPA with what needs to be done at Carbon EPA, but for our, we can't afford a stop-start, right? We can't afford people getting hurt or fuel rails cracking or injectors failing or anything. That's just not on the financial side. Let's rule out financial. I just don't want to be in a position. You want to be a ding-dong in our car, that's your call. But I don't want to do anything that we didn't take enough time to do right. So the last step we take is endurance testing production parts, right? So we've tested prototype chassis and prototype parts, and now we're on to production parts. Production powertrain is my last piece of testing. We're done testing chassis parts. We're told we will have production power, production rear gear, and production front diff in the next couple weeks. We will test them in chassis to the tune of about 10,000 kilometers of chassis in the desert. Or if you guys want to come to Parker, you might even get lucky behind the wheel because we are going to run them 24/7 till we click those miles, and then we're done. And assuming, a bolt came loose or a wiring harness burnt because those are the easy ones. We just got to make sure that we can run at 225 and at 300 horsepower for the duration that we've set, which are standards far higher than the industry has set. And we're going to run those. If we get a flat tire, I don't care. If we hit a rock and blow up a rear diff, I don't care. That happens. Robby did it in his $100,000 Ford. That's probably cheap. Sorry. In his 4-seater buggy down in Baja. Yeah, I did not devalue his car right there. I'll get in trouble on that. Actually, after these cars come out, your car just went to worthless. Yeah, so we'll do that. If we get that done in February, which is the current program, will be done in February, then we will fire up the factory in March. So that sounds great to everybody, right? March, that's awesome. We're going to fire up the factory and we're going to start producing production cars. But producing them and getting to the consumer, there's a logistics time frame, right? So you can't just print one, ship one. We're not Amazon, right? And we're not printing the 3D printer. Not yet. We might be Amazon soon. Then you produce the cars, you stage the cars, and our goal, and one of the reasons that, and Robbie has brought it up, is to do as much for our West Coast or any customer out of Havasu, is that we can live in Havasu for 2 weeks and deliver 2,000 cars, right? So everybody gets to come, party, ride, pick up, and leave. If you do not want to do that, we're shipping to dealers, and we are doing dealer events as well, or Anaheim, or go to Burt's is going to do it, and go to a Fun Bike Center, and go to Temecula Motorsports, and go to my buddy Bill Nash, or go to Coin, or go to, and I hate leaving out the guys up in the Pacific Northwest, but I don't spend enough time up there, but South Pacific Power Sports, and MU-Claw, and if I get all these, I'm going to be blown away. Nope, I'm done. There's a bunch more up there. Carson City Motorsports, those guys are amazing up there, Carson City Motorsports. So our goal is to distribute. Gino at Psychotic Industries, I'll give it out to Gino, and KTM, what's the KTM one? He's gonna give me Don, Gray Area KTM. There's people at that door if you want to let him in. So little by little, we're gonna do all that. But I think for the experience, the opportunity to come and meet Robby, meet myself, get out on a trail ride, maybe go out to the desert bar and go to dinner, or heck, just go down to Roadrunner and have fun. Whatever we do, it'll be part of it, and we look forward to those opportunities. So I don't know if you have any more to say, or we're gonna, instead of doing live questions.
Yeah, I'm gonna do questions off my Insta.
No, we're gonna do questions off people here.
Okay.
We don't want to do a phone call. We got people here.
Perfect. All right. Okay.
And I'm giving away a ride with Robby. There.
Ride with Robby.
So, guys, one at a time. Just go left to right. If you get a question, go ahead. None? Good?
Yeah.
All
Any
right.
questions? Any questions? Travis, you got a question?
Yeah, will Havasu be the first delivery station?
Will Havasu be the first delivery station? Really depends on where those first delivery cars are. I don't have the master number in front of me, but we've always said we would offer it up in based by master number. Now, master number, we also said we're going to deliver 4-seaters first. So master number 4-seaters will be getting their cars first, and those will be based throughout other. If it's California, it'll be Anaheim here. If it's Havasu, if it's convenient, you want to go to Havasu because you want to go ride, you want to do a full installation, walk around with your car with our techs. That's probably going to be our biggest location. Anaheim's pretty small here, but the Lake Havasu, the Hastings building that we moved into there is a large place. The city is very friendly with us, and you can ride right from there. So registrations and stuff like that, very easy to happen in Arizona. And I know a lot of our customers, I'm going to say 40% is probably Arizona based.
900 cars to Southern California, 600 cars, almost 700 cars to Arizona. Of the
Each got one going to Havasu.
Going to Havasu, yeah.
No,
So Havasu's, you're set. That'll be your location.
Have to trailer it out there, or can we ride it home?
No, you can pick it up there. And
Ride it home, it said you had to trailer it home with 4 straps.
Oh, no, so let me answer that. If you were to so this is a great question, your sales reps will ask this, so there's a state law. We cannot let you leave our grounds on a trailer without 4 straps. Now, if you decide to drive it and it is street legal, which I don't know how it could be at that time, then you can drive it off our property. But I can't let a car enter the street without a license plate on it, and otherwise you're putting me at harm and yourself because you're gonna get pulled over anyway.
So will it come with an Arizona license plate?
Nope.
No.
We give you the car, you register it.
places, there's so many places to do it.
You can't drive it away. I mean, I don't know what the back when you go out into the dirt.
We're about 2 miles from the dirt. Now, that doesn't mean we can't. Destination from us, down to the wash, drop the cars at the wash, cut you guys, let even land down there, literally, I'm gonna say 2 miles. I mean, we could run a truck back and forth, and you could have your trailer down there, and you can do whatever you want at that point, once you take possession of your car.
Just to be very careful, leaving our property, we have to, the last thing you want to do is someone to sue us and be closed because we made a bad decision. So, unfortunately, we're in this political, really political world these days. So we're going to try not fall into it and be like everybody else, but we just don't want to put ourselves at risk. It takes a lot of work to get Robby's talked about this car. Let me tell you some of the stuff we had to do as a business, which is unheard of. And it's a testament to what we've put together, but you can imagine the risk an insurance company
like State Farm has done, saying we'll insure your car. So anyone wants, I can tell you the State Farm agent, for our agents or agencies or whatever you want, but they don't know our car. They don't know what it's going to be worth if you total it, right? If you wreck it, what the break fix.
You had to go to the register Kelly Boulevard?
Yeah, I had to get us in KBB and NDA. That's coming. That's just part of the process. I had to get consumer financing. So Freedom Road Financial. But how do you get consumer financing when, again, what's the depreciation value of the car in 24, 36, 48, 60 months? What's the value of the car as it's been used in miles? Like Polaris they have this historic value on time, miles, depreciation over, all these pieces. Got another great company, one of the best in power sports to step up with us. Then we had to go sit there and I'll make an announcement today because we signed it today. We had to so the way cars get to dealers is through what's called dealer flooring, right? So that is us selling the car to a dealer, but the bank of that dealer pays us for the car because the dealer doesn't have, we ship a truckload to a dealer at a time, the average car is 35 grand, it's $350,000 check the dealer needs to provide. Well, that's not this industry. A bank writes us the $350,000 check, we give the dealer so many months free financing, and then for it to sit there so it can sell, and then when it sells, they pay the bank. That's the model. We'll try to go get a company to get embedded with us again. What are the cars worth? What's your dealer network going to be like? Are they healthy? What's their credit like? And do they have enough money? Our portfolio, if we open up 100 dealers, 65 dealers, they need $65 million available to be able to sell them cars. So I had to go find someone that $65 million that understands our business, that wanted to take a risk on us. And I'll give a prop out to Eric Daggs from TCF Financial. TCF, who's a really big player in this industry, did that as well. So you start looking at all the different things: EPA, car financing, consumer financing, insurance, product liability. How about calling an insurance agent and saying, I'm going to build the biggest, fastest car in the industry, but you know what got us product liability? Safest. Half our cars come with window nets that we sell. We have a B-pillar in our car like no one else. It comes with a roof. Comes with full doors. Comes with 5-point harnesses. Comes with compartment seats. We're able to get product liability insurance. No one wants to touch anybody when they're new, and I feel like I've been raped. So.
But you like your
I got to throw those in. If you could say
like your
small a
partners?
little bit. So we're at 6:40. I don't know if you want to say
Yeah,
anything.
no,
but
we'll take a couple
gotta
more.
keep rolling.
Any other questions? We talked about our, in the very beginning, when we first launched cars, we said, okay, we're gonna do events and parties. Well, heck, we're finally starting to maybe think about opening in California. I went from purple to red. I'm amazed. I mean, I've been here with Todd, like I said, for 4 days now, and it's a ghost town. I mean, you walk into big buildings down in Irvine that I know what those buildings used to look like, a year ago. There's nobody there. There's no cars in the parking lot. It's weird. But obviously we'll get back rolling here at some point. Maybe this new administration, maybe they'll get it figured out. Maybe the election's done. So we'll get back to it. I doubt it. If you listen to him talk, I definitely doubt it. But
Biden not.
Biden math, yeah. Is that like Robby and Todd math? I hope not. But on the other side, I think the dealer events will be fun. It's what we need to do. Also, you'll meet more community people around, as people like to ride with each other. And I don't know, in all the places I've ridden, everywhere in the world, because I've been fortunate enough to Dakar, South America, Chile, Peru, that Arizona desert's pretty good. It's hard to beat out there next to Shea Road and hang out over towards Granwell and some of those areas and ride the river. You got dunes right there. You got so many different choices of terrain. So I enjoy the Arizona desert. I think Havasu will be a great location. But there's, like Todd said, a lot of cars here in California that has Barstow and Apple Valley and obviously this weekend will be King of the Hammers and a lot of cool places if you like to rock crawl to ride here in California as well. Any online questions there, Mike? Anybody looking for anything? Any good ones off of Insta?
So I guess you want to explain somebody's asking about the blinker and horn kit. You want to explain about how, as a manufacturer?
Yeah, as a manufacturer, obviously our cars are not supposed to be street legal. I know certain states allow you to have highway access. So our car does not have turn signals, but we can have flashers on them. So we will have warning signals, which would be kind of nice, even if you were Glamis. If you were stopped on the side of the road, you hit the hazard button, you can turn that on. So we can do that. And I'm sure the aftermarket guys will figure out how to build an accessory for a turn signal kit. But we will have headlights, brake lights, and hazards built into the car. That's what we're allowed to do as a manufacturer. Go ahead.
Well, in Havasu, will we be able to get like upgrades on certain products like horn kits and all that kind of stuff?
Well,
Will they be able to do that there in
At
Havasu?
delivery? No.
Not on delivery, but after.
Oh, yeah.
Like I've got it and then I want to bring it back in,
Yeah.
just like a dealer,
Yeah.
right?
Dealership.
Accessories will be available not only through our dealers,
Okay.
but somebody, like I said, someone will come up with a simple kit. You know, if it's a quick harness or whatever it is that allows that to happen. Obviously, as we go, when we get windshields in play and stuff like that, people will want to do those accessories as well.
Oh, hey, I gotta interrupt. Rob brought up something that I hope my sales team bring. If you guys have any interest at all in a windshield, order it ahead of time.
Yeah.
It's over dimensioned, so it's called over dimmed and frayed if you want to ask people to buy windshields today. But if it's on the car, it doesn't cost you to get it there. The windshield to ship and
And the
insure.
roof.
Oh, and the roof.
Like our roofs.
Well,
cost-
everyone's got one.
No, but I'm talking about, let's use XX as an example.
Yeah.
The roof dimension to ship one of our roofs is almost as much money as buying a roof. Just because it's so big.
So big. For a roof, but we do have to insure a windshield because it's automotive glass. Because if it breaks, I don't want to be out the $1,000 it costs, or whatever it costs. So if you are pre-ordered a car and you have not ordered a windshield, realize you're probably going to pay, even at a dealership, if you buy it one at a time, you're going to pay that $500-$600 freight cost to get that windshield. So I'm not a windshield guy. I've had cars with them that I've loved them. I've had cars with them that I don't, but it's your six. So I'm not saying go buy a windshield, but I'm saying if you're thinking of it, buy it ahead of time. Otherwise, you're going to hate the bill and you're going to call me and go, I'm ripping you off, and I'm going to go, follow episode, whatever we're on. I told you to buy a windshield.
Yeah, it's the shipping. As
It's the
we
freight.
said, shipping toolbox is a perfect example. That little toolbox is $70 to ship it today.
Well, I got one more on the winch.
Simple. Yep.
So we had a lot of winch questions. I updated all the pull speeds on the web, and there's like a bunch of questions I had no idea. I'm not a winch guy, but our engineers are. But I just put the stats up that were asked. But one thing that people didn't realize when they looked at, people say, how much is the winch cost? Well, winches are easy to buy, right? You can go find a Warn winch, or I don't know. I was sponsored by Warn for years, so I know that's the Warn winch. That's why I never makes winches. But what you had to do is we had to have a custom winch design that was compact to fit in and behind, right? So we tried a bunch of winches, but eventually you couldn't turn the free spool, you couldn't get the lead fairing where you wanted. It was going to be a problem with our radiator later. There's all these variables that made the winch a problem. So we had winches, and we said, okay, this isn't going to work. We had to go do our own compact winch. So the next thing you have to do is you figure out how to get the winch to the front of the car without using a bumper. Well, that in itself was a whole nother challenge, because we didn't want a bumper in front of our front tires, because we already have people who have trailer issues on El Diablos, right? They can't handle 110. So if we had to put a bumper out there because they wanted the winch, then it wouldn't fit. So then we said, all right, well, let's make the lead fairing French into the grill, right? Well, if you do that, guess what's in front of it? The one thing that me and Robby love most, the speed lit S. Right? So why it took so long is what I'm getting at. So then you sit there and go, okay, this is great, but customer needs a whole new grill. So Robby didn't explain yet last week when we came out with it that it's not just the winch, it's not just the pulleys that route the cable to the grill and how unique and it's Frenched in. It doesn't even look like there's a winch, right? It's all hidden and Frenched into the grill. It also has to come with another grill insert to allow you to mount it. So when you look at the price, it isn't like I can buy a winch for $500, why are we $1,000 or whatever the number is? It's because all those pieces had to be integrated, and all the different brakes and the hardware to make it all bolt together. So
just give you an update on that if you had questions on that and didn't follow the thread.
Bring a tow rope.
Bring a tow rope, there you go.
And we had another one last week on Kicker audio. So Robby mentioned it. I actually started with Kicker. God, I gotta think 18 years ago. A really great guy. He's probably watching that named Tim Gertz. Got me sponsored with Kicker. And we did a lot of great stuff. That's when Kicker did the bigger bash at SEMA, and I was racing 50s at SEMA with all my buddies, and amazing times. But Kicker, in all these businesses, everyone wants us to disclose everything. Well, there's reasons we don't want to disclose things because that's what we have the privilege of doing. There's things we can't disclose. So, as we were looking at audio, we had all kinds of great ideas on audio, and we were vetting out Kicker and Rockford and all these companies. And we said, all right, well, we have NDAs with companies that we do business with, and those prevent us from telling everybody anything. So he said, as we sort out what we're going to have in audio, well, we knew it was going to be 4 speakers that were 6.5 because we had our doors done. We knew we were putting a 10-inch sub underneath, right? And we knew that we were going to run amps and a head unit. So at the end, when we could figure out exactly what we had done, and we knew our costing because we had costing already on what things were going to cost. And let me tell you, one supplier to the other, they're all trying to get your business. So it's pennies. If I had to spend $10 more to pick one supplier or the other, we picked a supplier that we wanted to go with, not over money, right? So if in any way people thought we were misleading audio, we were just vetting audio. And as we built out the doors and the door pockets, because Kicker's speaker is 1/8 of an inch thicker than Rockford's or than JBL, or you pick it, right? We're going to finally make our door pocket change, and then everyone's wiring is different, and then everyone's amps are different. And does the amp mount here behind the firewall? Does it mount in the dash? And you had to go through all these pieces. So I'm like, well, we got people who want to configure cars. We know what it's going to cost. Put it up there, sell it, and then we'll figure out if someone's concerned about who the supplier is, then don't buy it. That's what we said. And so I'm just responding to all you people who always ask questions that don't own a car. So.
All right, you got any other questions there, Mike, on Insta?
No, I think we're.
One thing we did get is, question was, and I want to make sure I address it because I did read it. What are we coming with on the El Diablo for 4-speaker, 2-seaters? The same doors that are in 2-seater are in the El Diablos, and they're the same front doors in the 4-seater. The back doors, there's really not back doors in the El Diablo. There's an open pocket is all there is. So I don't see the speakers being back there. So I'm still going to say there's 2 speakers in the El Diablo, there's 2 speakers in the Bandit, and there's a bass under the seat on the driver's side because the fuel tank's on the passenger side. So I just want to make sure there's some confusion out there. Why are you not doing it? Speaker cost for us, as many speakers we're buying, it's just not that big of a deal. But on the other side, it's placement, where they go, how they go. And one thing nice about the speakers and the doors we put them is we know people listen to it when it's running, but more people listen to their stereo when they're stopped. So I put them in the doors up high so you can open the doors and you can have sound outside. So we did take that into consideration when we were designing it. Huh? There's 4 in the office, yes. Because there's 2 back doors that would open up. So if you open up your back doors and you open up your front doors, all 4 speakers would be towards the outside. You should have good sound outside the vehicle as well. Thank you for that, Mike.
And how long is the battery going to last?
As long as it's running.
That's I don't know. I can look at
I have
it.
a really good answer to that. So I'm working on an inverter, right, that you'd be able to buy. We do this at SEMA. You buy an inverter that you can run your house power or your RV power, and you just plug in your car to the inverter, and it runs it like it's 110 the whole time. And that allows your stereo to always stay on. It takes the 110, turns it to 12 volt. And we do it at SEMA. You can run as loud as you want all night long, as long
Yeah,
as
but what about if you're
At the hill.
If you're at the hill, you're not going to do that.
bring
Bring your generator.
your generator.
I got you a truck there in the back. Bring your,
My Dodge you can plug into now. I mean,
When are you gonna make a speed generator?
a speed generator. Hey.
I'll call my buddy Brett at Makita. I bet he'll probably label.
But on the other side, just want to make sure, we don't know. And that's the truth is, how long can you sit there and then fire your car up and know it's going to run? We don't know that, but one thing I can do is when we have them out there, we'll have a manual. If you got 15 minutes, but if you left your lights on you know, for half the day before, you might only have 5 minutes. I don't know.
Is there room anywhere in the chassis maybe to put another small
Lots of room.
battery?
There's lots of room. Well,
you could
depends on what
isolate-
car it is. So that's where my next
You
issue
could have
comes in.
a-
If you put the base in the back seat on a four-seater, now you've taken up a lot of space in the back seat. There's quite a bit of room under the front seats for an additional, you could do an additional battery under the front seat for a larger battery pack. Or then again, you could bring a little jump box and,
Yeah.
you know, run
Start
off that.
yourself- Or you could start yourself when you're dead.
Or you can start it, or whatever. You know, they are very, very, very quiet with the muffler system on them.
Whose battery are you using? It's just an industry, like, I forget the industry standard batteries though. Well, I'm working a deal just so you know right now with Odyssey. There'll be a upgraded battery and battery charger available from us through Odyssey. But to hit the price points we have to hit, there's whatever that normal industry battery is that comes in everybody's power postcard.
I don't even know what is it called. I can probably go find one in the back of the
It's that
shop.
kind of brand, so I apologize. As all the things we put great in this thing,
I think it should have a Napa battery. I mean, if you're gonna ask me, I think, you know, I don't know where my Napa RC cars are, but I think it should have a Napa
I have a
battery.
nap in my double X right now.
Yeah, do you have a Napa?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gone there for my double X's and got batteries as well, so, I was joking not too long ago, but I think it should have, you know, a Napa battery. Go to Napa store and plug it in, you're good to go.
My endorsement deal. Odyssey, you might have one Napa, but no.
All I know is
Yeah,
Napa's
we're
gonna sell
an
more
endorsement.
RC cars than Odyssey.
But Odyssey's gonna sell more batteries than Napa. So,
I don't know
guys,
about
I really appreciate your time. I really want to spend a few minutes with you guys, and Robbie and I do need to get out of here in 10 minutes.
Perfect. Well,
I
thank you for
appreciate-
joining
thanks for
tonight. Any other questions? One more on the Insta?
I think we're all good.
All good? All right, thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys. Yes, thanks for coming. I don't know if you get to sit in seats, if you haven't sat in seats, you've done it all. If you got any questions that you want, just ask personally, whatever you want, but we got about 10 more minutes and we've got to get back to meetings.